Hey guys, Jason here. In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to build your own home recording studio for metal guitar players. Well, I reckon this could work for country guitar players too. Now, I'm going to show you every single component you need to build your home studio, but before we dive into those elements, I want to go over two things real quick. Number one, I want to tell you who this video is for and who it's not for. It is not for you if music is just something you're kind of dabbling in and like you want to record a cool song for your girlfriend or your mom or your dog or whoever. This is probably not for you. Now, if you are a serious guitarist or serious musician and songwriter and you really want to create, write, and produce music that's going to be of the highest quality and you can put out there and use it professionally, this is definitely for you. In fact, I'm going to show you everything that I use today for my albums and my recordings. Now, the second thing, and this is the cool part, I'm going to show you how to build this studio with minimal gear. I would rather have like just a handful of really good quality components, whatever they may be. I'd rather just have that than have like 100 pieces of gear and all this stuff that you don't really know what to do with in the first place. So all that being said, let's get into building our home studio for Metal Guitarist. Now, the first three components I'm going to share with you, these may be things that you already have or maybe you have some of them, but they're really the preliminary elements that I want to share with you really quickly. Now, the first one I'm going to go over is kind of the obvious one. It's a computer. So in today's modern age, you really need a computer to record music. Now, let me step back. You don't absolutely have to have one because there are standalone machines you can record with. In fact, if I dial it back, I actually bought the first generation Fostex DMT-8 machine. Now, by sharing that with you, I'm kind of dating myself. So, would you like to go on a date with me? Oh my god, I've been waiting for this. Yes. Guys, no, I didn't mean like I'm dating myself. I meant my age. Anyway, so yeah, you can do that, but I honestly don't recommend that, guys. I recommend you stay up to speed with technology. I think that's just crucial nowadays and probably will be even more crucial going forward. So, if you don't have a computer, save up some money, or if you have the money now, go buy one. But I'm going to show you two options you can have. Now, you can go out and get a really nice computer like an iMac, for example, and I actually made this jump about 4 or 5 years ago, but I did record my very first album using just a regular laptop, this Toshiba here to be exact. I don't think it works anymore, but I recorded my first album and released it in 2013, Apocalyptic Dreams, and I just used this laptop, and you can do that. You can get, just kind of a cheap laptop, but you do need to, whoever you buy it from, you do need to talk to them about the specs, and tell them what you plan on doing with that so that they can guide you in the right direction, or just do the research yourself. So, element number one, you need a computer. Number two, no, dudes, not that number two. Freaking gross. So the second thing you guys need is recording software. You've got your computer, right? And now you need the software program, and this is where you're going to capture all those really cool sounds that you're writing and playing and all that good stuff. So you're going to record all the tracks in the program, in the software program. And again, I know I'm kind of going to the newbie stuff here, so if you've been recording for a while, you already know this stuff. Hang in there because I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes real soon. This is where you capture your sounds, and this is where you do all the mixing and dump everything down to that file that you're going to send off for the world to listen to. Really cool that we can do that these days. Now, I've been using PreSonus Studio One since pretty much the beginning of time when I first jumped into software recording. Actually, I'll back that up a little bit. I use a software program called Reaper, and that's one of the lesser expensive programs, and I'm sure it's still around. So if you want to dig into something like that, if you haven't bought software, that's a good option too. But I started using PreSonus Studio One because of the interface that I bought, which I'm getting to that next. When I bought that interface, it came with like a light version of Studio One. I think it's called Artist, and I ended up upgrading and just I love using it. It's user friendly. People like me can figure it out pretty easy. So hey, here we are. I'm still using it. Now, I want to just show you real quick, just a short demo on how I use it and open up a track and all that good stuff. So we open Studio One up here, it's on my desktop on my cool iMac computer, and I'm just going to show you how to add a song. Like we're just gonna start from scratch here. I'm gonna do new song here, create song. Now, so that opens up what I call a session. And then I go up here, you can see me going up here, I'm just gonna add a track. Go here, add track, and boom, there's your track. Now you can add more tracks or whatever, but you can go ahead and start recording at this point. Number 3, the next thing you need is an interface. You've got your computer, you've got your recording software that goes, in your computer, but now you need something to connect all that together and plug your instrument into, and that's called the interface. Now, like I just mentioned, when I first jumped into software recording, I got this little interface from PreSonus, again, by PreSonus. It's the Audio Box USB interface. And that's what I recorded this is what I recorded my first 3 albums and my first single, with this little box right here. I plugged my guitar in here and the magic just happened. Actually, it was like many hours of screwing up and having to go back and re-record stuff, but hey, I made it. Now, since then, I did this about 1.5 years ago, I upgraded interfaces. I still stuck with PreSonus, but I upgraded to their Quantum 2, which I absolutely love. The reason I did that is because I wanted a little bit better preamps, and this interface has that. I'm not saying the audio box was bad, because again, I recorded some albums and you can do the same. So it really is just what your budget can allow. But like I said, I just wanted a little bit better preamps, because the album that I'm actually about to release in September in 2019 here, this is my first album with vocals on it. So I wanted a little bit better preamps with my interface to help those vocals out, because my vocals need some help. Now, you also see some other connections back here, and that's going to lead me to the 4th thing. You need studio monitors. Now, I'm going to say this, guys, don't get cheap studio monitors, and don't use other types of speakers that's not made for studio recording, because you're just not going to get good mixes out of those. Now, that being said, you don't have to spend a buttload of money on monitors. That's a buttload. I've always loved that word for some reason. But do get high quality studio monitors, because this is what you're gonna mix with, guys. And you need to hear all those components of your music, all the little nuances and all that stuff. So you just want to be able to hear everything clearly, and you can't do that with crappy speakers. So look on Sweetwater or Amazon or any of those places and just read the reviews on the product, right? Because people, if something sucks, people are very quick to tell us, yeah, don't buy these because they totally suck. So if you see like monitors with 1 star, 2 stars, or really anything below 4 stars, don't get it. All right, guys, now we're gonna get to one of the funnest parts of building a home recording studio, and these are items you already have. We're calling this number 5, and that is, you need a sound source. Like, you need instruments. So, guitars. I'm really just doing this because I want to show you guys my cool guitars, which you see them in all my videos anyway, so this is nothing new. But here I have my 7-string. I'm very much in love with this guitar. It's my ESP E2 Horizon FR7. I've only had this for like 1.5 years, and actually the album that I'm releasing here soon, again, I'm releasing this in September 2019. So if you're watching this video beyond that, it's already out there. Just go look up Jason Stallworth and you'll see my album was called Masterpiece. Anyway, so this album was my first album with a 7-string guitar. So this guitar is dear to my heart. And like all of us guitar players, we have to have more than one guitar, because one of really anything, except maybe a wife, is just not enough. So the other guitar I have, and this, well, both these guitars have shown up on my albums prior to the one I just recorded. This one's been on the bulk of them. And this is my ESP LTD M1000 Deluxe. This is a beast of a guitar. I love it. And then I've got my Ibanez Prestige RG1570. Really cool guitar, especially for clean tones and if I just want some different sounds, I'll pick this one up from time to time. And here's the 5-string beast of a bass that I use for really all my bass tracks. I love this thing. I had a different bass for my first album, but everything thereafter I've been using this bass here. And this is just an LTD D5 bass. Now, I also have an acoustic, a Takamine. I think you guys have seen that on a few videos here and there, but that's downstairs and I just don't feel like going to get it right now. So you don't get to see it, sorry. Now, along with your sound source, which again is your guitars, there's another component that we're missing here though, and I almost forgot to talk about this, but that is the actual sound itself, which would be your guitar amp. Now, there's 2 methods I'm gonna talk about real quick here. One is, yes, just doing it the old school way, and throwing a mic in front of that amp and cranking it up, and there's your signal. You record that directly into your interface, which goes into your computer, and there you are in your studio software. Now, the other way to do that is using what's called plugins, which a lot of you are familiar with. Now, I like to mix them up, and I'll tell you why in a second, but real quick with plugins, I'll show you what I've been using, and I'm not, endorsed by them in any way, but I've been using Positive Grid's Bias suite of plugins, their Bias Amp 2 and their Bias FX. So if you want to learn more about plugins, I have several videos on this particular company, and you can go back and watch those. Actually, I have a real helpful video on how to use their two plugins, the Bias Amp 2 and FX, together. I'll throw it up there somewhere, and I'll put a link to that in the description as well, because that's a really helpful video. It's helped a lot of people get over that hump and using both plugins together. So you can use plugins or you can use an amp, but like I said, I like to combine the two, and actually I did this on this Christmas instrumental metal single that I released a couple years back. I actually recorded my rhythm guitar tracks with a live amp. I used the SM57 mic, the Shure SM57, put that baby up to the speaker, and that was my rhythm tracks. But then for my lead guitar tracks and my clean and some ambient stuff I was doing, I used software plugins. So the combination of those two just works really, really cool. You can decide on what you want to use. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you think sounds good and whatever's comfortable to you. The thing I'll say about plugins is technology's come so far, I think we've kind of gotten over that. Well, bro, that doesn't sound like a real amp. We've kind of gotten through that for the most part, and the other side of that is people just really don't care. They just want to hear good music. They don't care if you use an amp or a virtual amp or whatever. They just want to hear some cool metal tunes coming from you. Now, as I promised, I wanted to cover vocals real quick with you guys, because many of us metal guitar players, we also like to sing. And even if you don't sing lead, there's a chance you might sing backup, or you might sing at some part of your band's song. Or if you're a solo artist like me, you have to cover pretty much everything. So I wanted to show you my setup. I have the Shure SM7B microphone up here. I don't know if you can see it that well from there, but it's the Shure SM7B. Now, the reason I got this mic for my studio is because I record death metal vocals, and this mic is like known for being the death metal mic. Now, I also record some regular sounding vocals, if you can call it that, and this mic actually does really well for that. Remember, guys, I said I'm a minimalist, so I don't want 10 different mics in my studio. I just want one good one for vocals, and of course I got my SM57 for, my guitar amp. But this is a solid all-around mic, especially for metal. Now, you'll notice some other cool things here too. I've got this pop filter in front of the mic. You've got like this filter in front of the mic that comes with it, but I like this. It just came off. Let me grab that pop filter. It popped right off. I don't think that's ever happened before. Anyway, I believe this is really a necessity, at least in my opinion, because it kind of keeps those puh and tuh, those harsh sounds that come out, especially when you're singing metal. So it kind of keeps those at a minimal. Now, the other component you see, of course, we got the obvious mic stand and cable. I'm not really going to go over those. You need those though. The other component you see is this shield here. Now, this thing is perfect if your room is not treated. I'm actually in a small 10 by 11 bedroom here. That's my studio. So I don't have a ton of room. The good thing about that is the acoustics in my room are pretty good, but this really keeps any other type of noise out, and it keeps sounds from bouncing off the walls and all over the place. So if you're recording vocals, I highly recommend you get one of these things. They're fairly inexpensive. I think there's like different levels. I don't remember how much this thing costs, and it is actually, it's the SERFX. This is like a must-have in my opinion for recording vocals, especially if you're going to use those vocal tracks for a professional release. Oh guys, and one more thing on the vocals, you also should pick up one of these little blue boxes. This is just a cloud lifter. And this really just kind of helps your vocals come out cleaner. Now, I've got another video on recording death metal vocals, and I'll put the little video up there somewhere. I'll also put a link to that in the YouTube description on this video. So if you do record vocals or you want to get into that, be sure to watch that video as well, because I've got some really cool tips in that video. Now, there's one element we have not talked about for your home studio, and that is, dude, how do you record your drum tracks? Now, this is where things get a little sticky here, and I'm going to share with you exactly what I've used in the past and what I use today. Now, for writing purposes, for just songwriting and just getting down ideas and just maybe even laying down your initial guitar and vocal tracks and all that stuff, I prefer to use a program like TuneTrack's Easy Drummer. In fact, I have Easy Drummer and Superior Drummer, but for some reason I find Easy Drummer just easier to use, no pun intended. So I usually go with that, and I bought their metal pack and then a death metal drum pack. So I've got enough loops in there to compile in order to write my initial guitar tracks and record those. So that's perfect for writing. Now, I do have a confession to make, and a lot of you guys are just going to hate me for this. For the album series, the Heavy Metal Workout album series 1 and 2, those are instrumental metal albums, and I actually did use Easy Drummer for those albums. However, for that second one, I did hire a real drummer, actually Ed Aborn, thanks Ed if you happen to be watching this, to program those for me, so at least they were done by a real drummer who actually knew what it should sound like. Now, what I do today is I still use Easy Drummer to write my initial guitar tracks. However, and this is what I recommend you guys do for, for any professional releases, hire a real drummer to lay those tracks. And I did that. I actually hired Fleury, who's an awesome drummer. He's also a really cool YouTuber. So I'll put his link in my description. If you need a drummer, he's the dude to reach out to. And I actually do not record any drums in my studio. Again, I'm in a small 10 by 11 room here, so couldn't really fit a drum set in here. I'm looking around, I'm like, no, it won't fit there, it won't fit there, not gonna fit here, no. So anyway, so he handled the drums and he recorded that. I'm in Florida and I think he's in Canada. That's the beauty of the internet and just having that, that virtual capacity these days. And he just sent me the tracks and I put them in my studio and boom. I dump them down to the main file that I have, that I send off for mastering. Done deal. So that's what I recommend you do. If you do record drums though in your studio, I'm gonna recommend you guys probably watch somebody like Glen. I mean, every one of you probably are aware of his channel. He's very popular on YouTube, but he has got some really awesome videos, and I'll try to plug one in up here somewhere too. But he's got some really awesome videos on how to record metal drums. I'll also throw both links, the Cameron Fleury, his link, and Glen Fricker's links in my YouTube description. So if you guys need to watch some of Glen's videos, or if you want to reach out to Cam for drum tracks or something like that, that's there for you as a resource. Alright guys, so we covered a buttload of ground here in this video, helping you build your own home recording studio for metal guitar players. So there's a good chance I could have left something out or missed something, but if I did, please leave a comment. And if you guys have any questions about any of the gear I use or any recording tactics, please leave those in the comments as well. I respond to all your comments. I know you guys know that already, but I love being able to chit-chat back and forth with you guys and to help you guys. So if there's anything I left out or if there's any questions you have about recording or maybe a specific piece of equipment I use, please let me know. And hey, who knows, I might just do a video on your question as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching my channel. If you do want to support me, please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff to my channel. And check out my YouTube description. At the very bottom, there's links to where you can listen and buy my music. You can listen on Spotify, put it on your playlist. You can also download my music off iTunes, Amazon, and pretty much anywhere. So guys, again, thank you so much. And as always, keep it metal.